Today specifically, I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what the ketogenic diet is, how to follow it, its benefits. I'm actually going to give you guys some tips on how exactly to start the ketogenic diet and what you can do right now to start keto. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Here we are again today with another video. In today's video, I am going to be talking about keto, how to start keto specifically, and the ground rules. If you don't know who I am and you don't know my story, I lost over 130 pounds by doing keto, intermittent fasting, and exercise in a fasted state. So for 4 months straight, I went to the gym every single day, exercised in a fasted state, followed the rules of the ketogenic diet, and then after that only ate one meal a day. I never cheated. I talk about the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, and other things of that nature the most on my channel because it was the way that I was able to improve my health. I was around 300 pounds and I did have injuries. I was not in a healthy condition. So my goal is to help you guys turn your lives around as well. I made a video on this before, but when I made it, I had half the amount of subscribers that I have now, and a lot of people have come for the ketogenic diet. So this is just kind of a refresher, but if you guys do want more in-depth information, go ahead and check out my first video. The ketogenic diet is composed of high unsaturated fat, moderate protein, and low to almost zero carbs. High unsaturated fat items usually have high amounts of oil, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, MCT oil. 75% of your calories are going to be coming from the high unsaturated fat. Usually to get my fat in, I would primarily use butter or kind of coconut oil or avocado oil to kind of just spray the pan before I actually cook anything. This is how I start off my meals with high fat in the first place. Using something like avocados is also a really good idea to go ahead and get your fat in. When you use avocados, that could be your source of vegetable as well as your source of high unsaturated fat. 20% of your calories are going to be coming from protein. So this would usually be any type of meat. 5% of your calories are going to be stemming from non-starchy vegetables, broccoli, spinach, avocado, asparagus, things that don't have any starch in them. Is there any snacking on this weight loss method? Of course not, because we are going to be combining the ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. That is how it works best. If you decide to intermittent fast, your body will naturally burn fat faster. And you can't exceed the number of 50 net carbs. So what this means is that you will take your total carbs that you ate for the day, minus fiber, minus the sugar, alcohol, and then that will be your net carbs that you can eat. Some of the benefits include increased energy, of course, weight loss, hormonal regulation, and the list goes on. So now I'm actually going to give you guys some tips on how exactly to start the ketogenic diet and what you can do right now to start keto. So my first tip to you guys would be switch out your regular snacks for ketogenic snacks. On the keto diet, you are not allowed to have sugar, so Quest bars are actually perfect for that. This is actually a Quest cookie, but they have different flavors. Remember that you aren't allowed to have any sugar on the ketogenic diet. Lily's chocolate is entirely made with stevia, and particularly the dark chocolate, I believe, has around 40% cacao. And the ingredients in Lily's chocolate are particularly keto. They will not kick you out of ketosis. I also have some Quest chips over here. These chips are perfect on the ketogenic diet. They only have 4 grams of net carbs per bag. They are ranch flavor, which could also help you get some of your saturated fat in too. One of my favorite things to consume on the ketogenic diet is nuts, aka trail mix, but be cautious of this because they can have a lot of calories if you consume too many of them. But nuts are a really good snack because they're filling and they can be utilized if you want to get your fat up. I think the hardest part about starting keto is cutting out the food that you love, especially sugar and candy. So if you can find something to substitute that, I promise you it'll help with your cravings. If you don't get anything else, get Lily's chocolate. I promise you will not regret it. I get a lot of questions from people asking me what exactly can I use for my fat if I don't want to use a lot of dairy. I understand that a lot of people may be lactose intolerant, so this is where the use of oils comes in. I feel like there are really dirty ways of doing keto, aka meaning it's really greasy or it's not really nutrition based. You can get carried away with the dairy consumption and the meat consumption. So using natural oils like coconut oil or olive oil to cook instead of using butter or cheese for your fat is a really good substitute. If you are trying to stay away from dairy, the way that you get your fat in is just through oils. For example, here I have some blue cheese dressing that is not made with any dairy, and it is a source of high unsaturated fat. I also believe it doesn't have any sugar or any carbs, so it would be perfect to use on the ketogenic diet as a dressing. I know a lot of people want to go on a weight loss journey, and particularly they ask me about going vegan, but before going vegan, they want to go keto. So my recommendation for you, if you are looking for an alternative for dairy, would be just to use these substitution items. Peanut butter is also a really good thing to use to get your fat in. Now, adding on to the previous idea, you know that bread is not allowed on the ketogenic diet because it is a heavy carb. So my third tip for you is to substitute your favorite items for lower carb options. For instance, these are keto pancakes that you can make that will not kick you out of ketosis. Each pancake has 6 grams of net carbs. And before that, I did have some keto bread, which had 2 grams of net carbs per serving. So these would be perfect alternatives for bread. These are specifically made for the ketogenic diet, but be cautious because they do have higher carbs and you shouldn't eat a lot of processed ingredients just in general. But because I'm using pancakes as an example, I'm also going to be showing you guys the syrup. My tip number 4 would be find sugar-free options for your cravings. If you are trying the dirty keto method, aka you're not really sticking to whole food, the main way to not break the rules of the ketogenic diet, still remain in ketosis and still eat the food that you love, is going to be finding substitutes. So even for me, I am a vegan on the ketogenic diet, and this is what I usually eat as my source of snack or candy. 1 gram of sugar is not really a big deal, but be cautious because those grams can add up if you do decide to have multiple bars throughout the day, especially throughout the week. This tip also goes hand in hand with my previous tip, which is if you want to stay away from dairy products, but you do want to eat things that are higher in fat or that are more vegan or plant-based. These are the ketogenic staple items that you can never ever go wrong with. These things will absolutely never kick you out of ketosis, and they are a whole food. So previously I just showed you guacamole, and now I have eggs. I know a lot of people don't like to eat eggs, but eggs are really good on the ketogenic diet. They have perfect macros. I also have some shredded cheese. Any cheese would be perfect on the ketogenic diet as a source of high saturated fat. If you do eat dairy, some other really good options are butter or any type of cream like sour cream or heavy cream, and 20% of your calories are going to be coming from protein, so this would of course be any type of meat. Last but not least, your 5% carbs are going to be coming from vegetables. Make sure that the vegetables that you get are going to be non-starchy vegetables, so you can't have any rice, you cannot have any beans. When you think about the vegetables that you need to get, you have to think about vegetables that don't have any starch in them, because we cannot exceed the number of 50 net carbs per day. We are not allowed to have any starch because that would add to our carb count. I will put the list back up for you guys, but this would be an example of exactly what you would eat for vegetables on the ketogenic diet. The vegetables that you can have primarily have to be leafy greens that don't have any starch in them. This is how you can tell if you are in the state of ketosis. When your body is getting into a state of ketosis, you will most likely know because you will feel different. Initially, when you start getting into ketosis, you will usually feel more tired, like you don't have any energy. It'll usually be harder for you to work out. And this is because your insulin is going down, your blood sugar is going down, and your body is adjusting to not using sugar as much anymore, especially if you do eat a lot of processed food or a lot of extra sugar. It may be a lot harder for you to get into a ketogenic state. If you do eat a lot of processed food beforehand, most likely you will feel a lot hungrier than you would regularly, just because your body isn't used to you abstaining from excess processed food or carbs. I suggest you check out my playlist. There I have what I eat in a day. I did not have any guidance when I was on my weight loss journey. I kind of researched everything and figured it out on my own, but I am here to help you guys out.